Okay, schmokey. I think today we'll do a little bit of story time. Because I just recalled the entire thing and it kind of upset me. A little bit. You know, it's like not the worst thing ever, but a little bit. Many years ago, in 2022, I started playing Vampire Survivors. And what some people may not know is I was a community helper on their Discord. You know, I did my YouTube videos and there was like very fast success and I was insanely active there and I was invited to join a team. That just means you take care of comments, you know, you delete comments, bad comments, you ban people, moderate that. You have a chat where you talk to other people of the moderator team and stuff like this, you know, and I really enjoyed it because I always like to participate in the communities where I play. If you ever see me play a game, you go on the Discord, I'm usually also there, you know, and chatting with people, sharing stuff. And in Vampire Survivors, I think with the 1.0 release in October 2022, I believe that was, or something like that, there were credits in there, you know. Now, I didn't want to be in the credits, you know, for being Dex the YouTuber. That would be silly, you can't just add every single person in there that ever made a video on your game, and I was by far not the biggest, right? Like, I may have had the most videos, but I was by far not the biggest. And it's always complicated, so I wouldn't have been wanting to be included there at all. But all of the community helpers were listed in the credits. Except for one person. The Dex. So, Dex threw a little temper tantrum. That's actually not true. But I pretty much said, okay, listen guys. I'm gonna say I was upset about it, okay? That did actually happen, that I was upset about it. I said, okay, listen guys. Hope you had fun. I don't want to do this anymore. You know, that I was like here helping out. And I think the answer was already something like, yeah, we've already thought about like that to like kick you. And I'm like, did it what? I'm sorry, you did what? Oh my god, wait, let's do that. No, but like, you know, to understand, it's free labor, right? I did a job there, pretty much, for nothing. And I did a good job in my opinion. I was never rude or anything, you know, community management. I was like, you what? And I was like, what is this all about? You know, at this time there was a new community manager in there, but a proper one, you know, a paid one that was like the head of all of the community helpers. So yeah, it was a community manager. And she was the one that I was talking to. And I was like a little bit confused because this all felt a little bit hostile and I was confused about. I'm not saying it was like straight up hostile or something, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it felt weird. As if I did something or as if I was disliked. So I got upset about that. And I said that there, that I'm like, okay, I can understand if you say you want to change that and stuff and I focus on YouTube and other games if you don't want me there. Though that was still a little bit weird to me, you know, it's like, just because I cover other games, you don't want to have me as a community helper anymore. That's like, that's odd to me, but okay. And because I was upset, the developer was oh, that's perfect timing. The dev of Ponkel, Luca, you know, was contacted by the community manager to say, hey, Dex is upset. I don't know what exactly happened there, okay? I can't say that. Or we'll give you more burn. More shots or more burn? I think for now we'll do more shots, because if you upgrade it, no, it's only start of combat you get more burn. Huh, difficult decision. But yeah, pretty much contacted, and Luca then got in touch with me via email. Where he was like, okay Dex, I gotta apologize, you know, I'm sorry about that. There was a misunderstanding. We thought you're literally just here as the YouTuber and you promote like your videos because many of my guides were linked because I was the only person making these guides, you know, or I came up with them. So, you know, it was a little bit like, yeah, okay. But like, I didn't know that, but then I checked for your name and you had like 50,000 messages or 500,000. I don't know how much it was, but it was a ton of messages, like over the entire time, because I was doing so much, you know, in speedruns, not in speedruns, in world records, pretty much in every way you can interact with the game, I was there to do it that way. And wait, do we actually do this? I don't think do we do this? Yeah, I think we'll do this. And yeah, he apologized for it, you know, and he said, I'll add you to the things there, you know, to the list there of the community helpers and stuff like this. All is good, was a misunderstanding. Okay, I understand that, that's fine. Now, the thing that I'll say is, it always felt weird. you know, as if I was treated a little bit in a weird way. Okay, this is not like a story of, oh my god, horrible things happen. No, 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 no. It's just like, it always felt a little bit like I need that right now. It always felt a little bit like, you know, if you don't like a colleague and you don't want to tell him, but everyone kind of knows that no one likes that colleague. That's kind of what I felt like. And like when I reached out, for example, when I wanted to sell Vampire Survivors keys, there was just no response at all. For everything else, there was like an instant response, but for things like that, there were just no responses, which was odd to me. And also for other things, when I tried to make like a special video or so, you know, via support that I reached out. But those were specifically like reach outs for people that were YouTubers and stuff like this. And this always felt a little bit weird, like as if I was really disliked. I don't know why exactly. Start of combat burn, by the way, very nice. I don't know why exactly what I've done or what happened. On trigger permanently gain 1 burn. Holy moly, let's go. Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened or where the dislike came from, or maybe I really just imagined it, you know? It wasn't a thing, I really just imagined it. It can, like, fully be, you know, who knows? But it felt like it, very strongly to me. And that is one thing that stayed on my mind. Now, the nice part about this message is, okay, so I was upset about this, and I remember when I made a community post, okay? And I remember when I talked about this, I also mentioned that I was pretty much told I shouldn't, like, that I'm not supposed to play like any other game, which was weird to me because you can't expect that from a YouTuber. Oh, that was nice. And then Kai, the developer of Holocure, the free Horde survivor, you know, that took a lot of inspiration from Vampire Survivors, but did a lot of amazing things on its own, you know, and improvements and other things. Reached out to me via email, and he was like, hey Dex, I'm really sorry to hear about that, that sounds horrible, you know, you can understand that I was also upset there, and he wants to add me to Holocure. Now he doesn't want to do that just because I, like, to the credits, you know, and he doesn't want to do it just because I was mentioned here, but he just saw that and wanted to give me like a good news kind of thing, you know, that I feel a little bit better about the entire thing. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe you actually did that. No, like, again, I get that, you know, like what he means. Really just, I had that plan, but I want to let you know now because you felt very down. And back then I was hurt. Okay, because I felt like I've done so much for Vampire Survivors, I focused so much on it. I'm not saying I was a majority of the impact for the game, by far not. I was like maybe 1%, maybe a little bit more. But at that time, I was already over 500 videos on YouTube coming up with creative things, of which many were actually added to the game, even though it was never said that they had anything to do with me. But I'm just gonna say, if someone is making a lot of creative things, and a lot of these things end up ending up there, and the other things are in line with what makes sense with the development of the game, then you're like, huh, interesting that you got something out of line that is so similar to the one that I did. Even weapons, partially. Okay, sorry, I got stuck here because I wanted to look if I want to have this, but I don't want it. Yeah, but that was like one of the biggest upsets probably, where I was really like, I'm never gonna get this invested into a game anymore. That was just it. Like, I'm never ever gonna do that again. Because it was just so annoying to put so much effort into it and then just feeling like I'm getting, like, you get pushed away. And I'm not saying I think I deserve anything, okay, that's not it. It's just this weird treatment where it really feels like they were annoyed by me. So on trigger gain 1 bonus burn is insane. We do need cooldown though. This one pops off after this, but it only gets 12 shots, which is actually a lot with the burn that it has. Okay, well, let's do it. We don't even need this anymore. Honestly, I'll get rid of this. Yeah, I think I'll get rid of this. Let's remove that. Because then we have more money to upgrade stuff. And we just focus on cooldown. We don't need anything else. We just need to get the cooldown down. That also means I could have actually kept the book in. That gives it bonus multicast. But at this point, we can also forget that, you know? Like, if we can't even trigger this... We did trigger it once, that's nice, but if we can't really trigger this, then we can't reach 17 seconds, because this is 5 seconds. But yeah, that was really a story that... where I changed my view so much. Nice. Because I also felt like, okay, this is like a weird thing maybe to say, I don't know if it's weird or not. But I always felt like, because like I'm a small YouTuber starting out, you know, I did grow very quickly. But I felt like it was a little bit like we are on the same side, or on one side, you know, that there's like a very favorable view, very positive view. Maybe even special treatment view. That doesn't mean like eye contact that and there's always something amazing. But where it's like, oh hey, it's Dex. Let's see what he, like what question he has. And if they can't do it, they can't do it obviously, but there's some form of respect for the content creation, the amount of content creation about the game, and also the other things associated to it, like records. But yeah, it was, and the effort of course put into the community, but it was a weird feeling. I don't know if I really covered everything, and honestly this is like 3 years ago, so I don't really have that fully on my mind anymore what was going on. But I do remember that, like those things, and also later when I reached out via support and tried to ask for stuff. I feel like someone was upset that I covered other games, and especially games that were considered clones of Vampire Survivors, which was any Horde Survivor that came out. You know what, let's just do it again. So, including something like Potato, which is very different, but even that was considered a clone when it came out, because the style of Vampire Survivors, the way it was, didn't really exist before. That doesn't mean there were no games like that, but there were no games that were popular and managed to popularize it for a general audience, a wide audience. Vampire Survivors was the first and by far the biggest, so anything remotely close to it afterwards was called a clone and a copy, and I had to listen to that for years. And this is why I'm also nowadays a little bit allergic when I show games and people are just like, oh, this is just a clone. Hey Dex, this is just a copy. Why are you playing this? And I'm like, oh boy, like for 5 years I hear the same, okay, not 5 years. For 4 years I hear the same comments every single time I show a different game. And the only thing that differs, whether it's considered a clone or not, is just how successful it is later on. That is the only thing. It's not how different it is how successful it becomes to get its own fan base. And that's annoying. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, the story time. If you want, subscribe, like, if not, totally fine. Have a good evening. Bye bye.